So I could be like 01/31/2021, right? And then there we go. So now all I've got is only the items for January inside my dashboard. Greetings, salutations, and all good things in between. What's up, everyone? Matt here. In this video, I'm going to talk about the enhanced dashboard sample app that I have. Okay, first off, let me define what I mean by enhanced dashboard. All right, since AppSheet already has an interactive dashboard as a system level thing, we can't really call what we're trying to do that. That'd just be silly. So we got to come up with some other term that we're going to use to describe the thing that we're talking about so that we're all on the same page, right? Just a side note here, I'm putting together a glossary of terms on AppSheetInsider.com. If you have any terms you're confused about or whatever, head on over there to submit. Okay, so what exactly is an enhanced dashboard? Well, it's basically the manual version of the interactive dashboard that AppSheet provides for us that we build ourselves. Now, the benefit to that is that we can include all sorts of functionality. Like with the interactive dashboard, it's just like tap and view the details, and that's all you get. But you can't even get the information about what is the thing that you tapped on. With the system that we create, you can include multiple different filters, right? You can have like starting date, end date, project, client, status, fill in the blank. You know, possibilities are endless. All right, so what does all of this look like? Let's jump in the app and take a look. So when you first open the app, you're going to land in a page where the preview is as a mobile view. Expand this to the tablet, and then you'll really see the dashboard. And now what you can do is you can see we've got this control box over here with various different fields inside it. The idea is whatever fields that I modify inside the control box, they drive the other two views inside the dashboard. You've got a donut chart and a table. So if I say that I only want to see the unbilled items, I select unbilled, and now everything inside the donut and the table are now, you see everything is unbilled. Or I could say I only want to see stuff from, say, I don't know, January. So all of these dates are from last year, 2021. So I could be like 01/31/2021, right? And then there we go. So now all I've got is only the items for January inside my dashboard. This dashboard features a control box with multiple different criteria inside it that basically gives you the ability to live query your database. The real beauty here is that AppSheet, it's endless. We can do whatever we want. We can put whatever sort of additional criteria that we need for our query or whatever's included, whatever further data points are included in our database. All we have to do is add another field inside that control box for that specific data point that we're trying to query by. The other thing that I've also included inside this dashboard is an action that allows you to clear all of the filters. So basically, you've got this control box with a whole bunch of fields inside here, and if I put values inside them, I want an easy way to clear everything. Boom. All right, now that we have an understanding of what the enhanced dashboard looks like, how it functions, and like generally what we're doing, the rest of this video is going to be spent going over the nuts and bolts of how all of this is put together. So first, let's go over the tables. So I have a user table and a construction job entries. All right, so the user table is the place where we can allow the user space to interact with things. And generally what we're doing here is this is just like any other user table where I have like an email, that's the email they're using to access the system, a role if you really want to, but it's really just the emails, they're really the only part that's important because that's what we match to the email they use to log in. And then from that, we can then create a current user slice where this has got some funkiness to it because I included some testing things, right? But generally what you're going to do is that email equals user email. And so this slice then holds the user record that for the person using the system. And you can see inside the columns of the table, we have these other columns down here, and I've started them all with the word filter so you could easily pull them out. And the idea is you just include one field for every type of data that you need to filter by. So you can see I have the construction type, that's an enum, start date, billable, it's an enum. I even included a couple of extra ones that are left hidden in case you wanted to just throw something in real quick and see what it would look like. The other side of this app is the construction jobs table. And you can see there's really not that much going on inside this table. There's an ID column, there's a construction type, a date, how long did they work, how many hours, what was the cost, and then is it billed or not. That's it. Really, we're just using this table for something to show inside the app. In reality, in your system, this would be your main data table that you need to look at. And this could also actually be multiple tables. Maybe it's not just one construction job entries table. Maybe you've got job entries, costs, you've got whatevers and other things, right? You can filter all of them. The method of accomplishing that is the same way that it's done inside here. I have the control box, which is just keyed off of the current user slice. And then I've got another slice that's looking at that current user slice. So let's talk about how do we actually get the filtering to work. It's all about slices. So if you go to slices and you look, you'll see we have a slice of the construction job entries table called dashboard job entries. Now, you could name this something else. I just find it's really helpful. It's pretty clear for me, like this is the dashboard, you know what I mean? And the formula inside here, this is where all the magic happens. You can see it's an and statement with a bunch of if statements inside it. And the idea is that each one of these if statements is their own contained little package of logic, and we're combining them all together. And if you look at the fallback for each of the and statements is true. And so if we just defaulted all of these to the fallback, the resulting logic statement we would have would be and true, 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 and true, which means true, like that's going to be true. And when you're in a slice, the formula that we're doing is like, should we show this record or not? Like that's the question that your slice logic is answering. Should we show this record? And so if you've got a bunch of if you got an and statement with a bunch of trues inside it, and it's just true, 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 so then yeah, it's going to show every record. And so the way that you can think about this is like the fallback, that true statement, is basically telling this formula to skip this. And so as long as I'm meeting this first criteria, then this logic will come into play. Otherwise, it just becomes a true statement, in which case it's like, all right, never mind, skip this. So in this way, this is how you get it to where you can say, only enforce the specific criteria if somebody has selected something. Otherwise, don't show anything. That's how you get this sort of magic to work. And then it's all about including another branch inside your and statement for each of the criteria that you need to include. So if you need to include new criteria in your app, the steps are you go to your table, go to your user table, add a new criteria filter space, go to your slices here and integrate that new column into this slice. And the way you do that is you just come in here, you copy like this bottom branch right here and add that into the mix again. And then you just change this current user, this filter end date, whatever the column that it's using here, you just change this to whatever you need it to be. And you change the column that it's looking at for the actual construction jobs to whatever it's supposed to be that matches the criteria you're trying to do. And when you get everything lined up, everything works hunky-dory. All right, next, let's talk about the views and the interactivity that I've included inside this app. So for the views, obviously we've got this dashboard. And so the easiest way to like look at all the view stuff is you just, whatever's in view down here, if you click down here, this little view link, it will take you to that view. And so in this dashboard, you can see it's dashboard that has the control box, this donut chart, and a dash table. And so if we just go and find these, you can see what they're all about. Again, there's not very much in this app, so it's pretty simple. The control box is a detail view of the current user slice. The idea being that we're going to show the person their record. And then we've made all of those filter columns as a quick edit. So if you needed to add anything else new into this, you need to come into the view and add that column into the quick edit column list here. But yeah, that's all the control box is, right? You just include the fields that you want someone to be able to modify. That's it. The other two are views based off of that construction job slice that you made, right? Because the slice is that sort of live filtering thing, right, of your construction jobs. And so what I did is I just made two views for that. I made a donut chart and I made a table view. So then I make these two things and then I go to my dashboard view and I add them into the view entries and kind of play with the little views how I want, so I can make them look nice inside the dashboard. There you go. So that's all the views stuff. There's not that much else to talk about on that front. The only other like interactivity thing I included in this app is the clear filters button. And that's pretty straightforward too. Let me show you. So if you go to behaviors, there's only the one action. If you expand this, you can see it lives on the user table because the idea is, right, we have the current user's record, which we're showing over here. And if I put something inside these fields, like all I need to do then is set those fields back to blank, right? And so you just need to make the action that says for these fields, make them blank, right? Give it a nice name, give it a nice action. And since it lives on the user table, you'll be able to see it inside this control box because the control box is a slice of the user table, right? And so then down here, what I've done is I've just included a condition for this action that says only show this if the current user's role is an admin or a dev, and the view that we're using is the enhanced dashboard. So you can only see this button inside the enhanced dashboard view. That carries with it some interesting things. So it's like, for instance, you can see this button here because this whole in this like high level view that we're looking at is the enhanced dashboard. But if I click the little expand button over here to view just that part of the dashboard, notice the button goes away because I didn't include the control box view inside my criteria. Now, if I wanted it to show here, all I would need to do is copy the name of this view. So I just come over here and hit copy. I'll use my browser back button to take me right back where I was and just go inside my condition formula here. And in my formula where I say in view this list, whatever, I already set myself up for future-proofed my formula. Instead of saying context view equals whatever, instead of doing that, I did this in statement with just the one value. But that set me up for the future. So now I don't have to change my formula now. I just come in here and go, comma, paste. And with that, I've now included the ability to see that action to clear the fields right here inside the control box. So I can see it on the enhanced dashboard. And then if somebody, for some reason, expands the control box to be a big thing like this, they can still see that button to clear the thing. One last thing for on the UX side, you may have noticed that if I have something selected, the action becomes red, and when there's nothing, it's gray. That was done intentionally. There's actually does a lot of things for you, but most things you have to do yourself. So if we just go to UX and format rules, you can see I have two format rules inside here that control that action, where I'm just saying, so if it's inactive, the condition is, here it is blank, blah, 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 right? If they're all blank, so it's an and statement, and they all have to be blank for it to be gray, versus the active, where it's almost the same exact formula. I just changed the and for an or, because it needs to be gray if everything's blank. But as soon as you populate one thing, then it needs to turn red. So that's the only difference between those two formatting rules, and they only apply to the actual button here. That's all I got for today, folks. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. If you really like it, give it a like. Maybe consider subscribing. If you want to show your appreciation and support what I do a little more, head on over to patreon.com/multitech. Got a lot of goodies over there, and you basically drive what I do on my Friday live streams. Until then, have fun and app sheet on. All right, an enhanced dashboard is based dashboard. A little south there. I don't know what's going on. A quick side note, wanted to mention I'm putting together a glossary of AppSheet terms on AppSheetInsider.com. Head on over there. No. I'm putting a glossary of terms together over on AppSheet Insider. Go there.